And then, well, let's talk now that the book is out. It's launch time. You've got a degree from the Wharton School of Business and Marketing.
I
do. And I know I'm talking to you here at book 1. So I'll have to circle back and talk to you at book 5 and see how your thoughts on how to market a book have progressed. But what, if you don't mind sharing, what are some of the strategies you're employing? What's the marketing plan of attack?
Wow, that's a big lead-in. So I am a debut novelist. I do have an undergraduate degree in marketing from the Wharton School of Business. There's a lot to learn as a debut novelist that you don't necessarily pick up before you sign your contract. Basics from, developing a website and developing a media kit, which sounds pretty basic, but, all of a sudden you sign the contract, this needs to be done ASAP. So I have spent a lot of time just sort of catching up, I feel like, to the basic level. Going forward, I am really looking forward to finding different pathways to people interested in my book. And that could even be adults in World War II blogs who are interested in World War II fiction. So apparently, I believe it's about 8 states in the United States where it's mandatory to teach the Holocaust in the public schools. So I would like to, market myself to educators in this capacity. I would like to identify Holocaust centers around the country and introduce myself, and perhaps they could sell my book in the Holocaust Center if they do have a shop. So there's a number of areas that I'd like to pursue.
So what's going on with the other 44 states where this isn't mandatory?
I know. Yeah, right.
Get on it. Come on, states. Let's not ignore history. So, okay. So how are you going about the process of approaching them to introduce yourself as, hey, I'm somebody that could be made available to you? How do you make the introduction?
So for the Holocaust centers, this is something I'm in the process of right now. There are lists of Holocaust centers around the United States. So I have acquired my list. And then the step is, it's a little tedious. You need to go, what I do is, I'll go through each and every one and I'll look on the website. I'll see if they have recommended reading lists. I'll see if they have a store. If they don't even have any of that, I'll send an email just to introduce myself and thank them and say, this is what I'm doing. Just FYI, the book exists. I exist. If they do have recommended reading lists, I'll say, please consider, putting my book on the recommended reading list. And if they have a store, I'll, offer an e-arc.
And then I know you're working with a publicist because you're working with Rebecca Gross, whose interview is available now at middlegradeninja.com. What has reaching out and involving a publicist done for you beyond what you can do for yourself?
Okay, so as a debut novelist, I found it extremely valuable. Once again, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what the expectations of the industry are. When do reviews come out? Is this good? Is this bad? I didn't know. So Rebecca was great at hand-holding and sort of guiding me. You really need to have a presence on library thing. You really need to, have a footer in all the emails going out. You really need to get an author Facebook page. Just even helping, guiding me through the basics of what I absolutely needed to do was very valuable to me. She advised me, what kind of giveaways, would be good for me to pursue. She, of course, has, her list of media contacts and reviewers that she, pursued on my behalf. I didn't have the knowledge. There's a million bloggers out there. Some are excellent.
Thank you very kindly.
And some are also good, but they're small. So, as a debut novelist, you don't know what the universe is. So it's nice. It was very nice to have her to navigate through that universe and tell me where to focus my time.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And that's one of the frustrating things I know about marketing. That old adage is only half of marketing works. Unfortunately, nobody knows which half. So you got to try a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Heck, I do the podcast and the blog. I'm forever talking about books, and I don't know I couldn't tell you what the exact effect is on sales as a result of doing it, but I assume it's all tremendous. I assume it makes all the difference. So going forward, now that the book is here, and you're going to continue to be marketing, I assume,
yes,
forever for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But at what point is it time to pull back a little bit from focusing on putting this project out there and start to focus on the next project?
I mean, I think any writer should be writing. So that said, sure, I have other projects. I just finished a second novel, not a historical novel. This one is a sci-fi novel, and I'm just beginning to sub it out to agents. Once that's in the works, I have an idea for a new novel, which is just, in the beginning phases of being storyboarded. But I don't think I will ever lose interest in trying to make my historical novel succeed. It's my baby. It's, my debut novel. It's my family heritage. And I find it an important subject matter for children to understand.
So when you step aside from a project this is so deeply personal, and so involved, when you write something like a science fiction novel, is it harder going forward because you don't have the same personal connection except the new connection you're creating? Or is it such a relief to be like, oh my God, I'm free of all this actual factual stuff. Now I just need to understand the science that makes my science fiction novel work?
Yeah. So that is such a fantastic question. And I think my choice, it's shaping into a funny science fiction middle grade novel. And I think part of that decision was informed by I needed an emotional break. I did not want to jump into another heavy topic, contemporary or historical. So I kept it, light-ish. And I also needed a break from the extensive research. That's not to say science fiction is without its research, but it's a different kind of research than, spending the day at the New York Picture Collection Library looking at wallpaper, right? It's just not the same kind of framework.
No, there's no such thing as a book where you don't have to do research. I joke that I have a plausible working theory about how you could create alligator people. I have given this a lot of thought.
I'll look forward to reading about that.
I've got their society all mapped out in my head. I know what's going on with them. You're not going to read all of it on the page because you don't need all of it. But I did the research. I have thoughts. If alligator people existed, I've got some theories on how they'd be. So with them, do you have a plan for yourself, a vision for yourself of who Jennifer Voigt Kaplan, author, is going to be 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Or are you just kind of playing it by ear that this sounds like a fun project for now and this one might be good? How are you planning? How are you mapping that out?
Well, I guess a little bit of everything. I do. I like children's literature at this point, and I can't imagine in the near future stepping away from that. I still write picture books, and I love writing novels. I have as I just mentioned, I'm just wrapping up one science fiction middle grade novel, and I have an idea for a new middle grade novel. Maybe as my kids get a little older, I wonder if I'll have more of an interest in writing YA, just because I'll be closer to it. Maybe, maybe not. I think middle grade, there's something about picture books and middle grade, which I find very, very special, especially the middle grade years. It's really when human beings are becoming the people of their, becoming people, defining their ethics, becoming who they will be in the future. And I find that just very special.
So do you foresee yourself being predominantly middle grade and young adult focused going forward? Or do you have some idea in the back of your mind for eventually, once I've lowered their defenses and they've come to trust me as a middle grade person, that's when I hit them with the adult horror?
That's funny. I wonder, I don't know how transferable, if I become a prolific middle grade author, I don't know how transferable those skills would be to the, an adult fiction audience. I hear it's, not quite so easy. And I have plenty of stories that are not children's stories. So I might, if I do want to write something adult one day, it would probably be in the form of a short story to start. But I can't see myself writing an adult novel anytime soon.
Mir Bartok, previous guest, a few episodes back, esteemed audience, said something that I really have been thinking about since. And that was that every novel you write trains you how to write that novel. So you haven't learned how to write novels. You've learned how to write that novel. Now, next novel, you need to learn how to write this novel.
That's fair. I'd agree with that.
I just like that idea that you could do anything. You just might have to really stretch, but you're going to have to do that anyway, even if you write nothing but additional middle grade science fiction books forever.
Right. You're right.
I don't know if you've got like I don't know, I think I've talked about this before. And one of my bucket list items is to eventually have written something in every genre, just to try it
Really?
out, whether I publish it or not. Like I've got an unpublished Western that the
Oh,
world is better off not reading at this point. But I know I wrote it. I had the fun of doing it.
that's fun. Oh, okay. It goes back to seeking joy. If it makes you happy, that's wonderful. That's what it's about.
Check that one off, and maybe one of these days, under an actual secret pen name, I'll write a romance. I think that might be a fun thing to do as well.
Oh my goodness.
And then I don't. We'll get them all. Maybe I'll do a memoir. It'll be fun.
All right then.
And I did want to ask you